So we're on page Kuf Mem Vav, and we're on this phrase. It says, "V'nimsa ki kafi zeh ein roy la'adam sheyishan taketh b'layla." The person shouldn't go to sleep immediately at nighttime. I guess he means achat tefilas arbis. V'yishcha shihur shlosh shawos, and this concept again. He should wait there for the amount of 6 hours. Ha'ami demochim yonim dezun. This is an order we had similar idea of it where it said the Yoshvim, the Midos. Here he says that was in the Sifra Ditzniuta. He means he used to sustain the Mochim of Elyonim the Zun. Kahashena, he sewed Histalkul Samochim Shabo, because that's what's shot in sleep. Commotion Evoyer Atachabe as a Hashem. It means that we're trying to keep the Mochim, and going to sleep causes the Mochim to leave. So it sounds like what Rabbi Memran says is that it's possible to have a level of consciousness where you're actually working on that aspect of your brain which is able to connect, let's say, the right side to the spiritual qualities of Hashem in the real world. But let's look at the light print over here on page Kuf Mem Zayin. And it says like this: Lefir HaMavur Ad Ko Muven Madura V'yesh Dehi Zocher Shelo Lisham Tekef Avra Tefilas Arvis. Who Mishum Shebavur the Kumon, that will explain it later on. The Indian the Shena, who besod his talchos and mochem is their anpen. He's repeating what was said up above. Being came, if that's the case, he says, Im Yishka va'adam lishan taketh the achot tefilas arvis. If that's going to happen, Yigrom bekach yistalkol the mochem is not. So this was caused at the histalkos of the mochem. The Kevin Sha'anu Rotzen Shechabmuchim Yishara Bezer Anpen Kamisha Yosef Zaman. There's so much of an extended amount of time. Okay, the Yisha the call Pacho, so therefore a person should wait at least Shlosh Shal Tefillah, 3 hours, including incorporated all of Tefillah, Ad Shena until before a person goes to sleep. So this Aharas Amochim, which is an expanded consciousness of the awareness of Hashem, to be able to sustain that, ad shlosh shawos, for the person of 3 hours. So we had said previously the Yosef B'Kachi Estra, you can't do more than that. L'Kayim Arasam Kafishin is Boyer, that we have already talked about that. So now we got to number Yud Bet. Number Yud Bet in the bottom has a little bit of arichas to it, and it says like this. Reading Yud Bet at the bottom. Let me get it here. There we go. He said Yud Bet. He says Ein roy la'adam sheyishan teka b'layla achat tefilas arvis v'yeshcha b'shir shlosh shavos la'amid mochem elyonim, in order to be able to keep those mochem of the elyonim dezun. So let me see how I can do this. Okay, the zon. The mocha the chakras the v'ayr b'DRUSHOT tefillin, the achar tefillah, that after the prayer is done, yotzei namochem is their anpen b'nishar rak rishima shalachem, and then all that's left of them is a rishima. V'im kein mu'chrachin the farish the masha kosav kan. So therefore, what we're talking about here, sheyish chechashir shlosh shawos, a person should wait 3 hours. Lahamfin the mochem al yonid zon. Ain't the kavanah sheyish sha'arach b'mochem atzman. We're not talking there. Let's try to remember that we're talking about the mochem themselves, because they left. El sheyish sha'arach b'rishima, but that there is an impression of them, and an essence, a small essence of them that remains in the mochem shlosh shawos for 3 hours achar tefillah, after the tefillah. That's according to Shem and Sason, he says. Vakati kosher, but it still makes a problem. Sharid is bar Risham b'DRUSHOT tefillin, to take up the Lila mistalek gama rishima de mochim. Over there that he says, when we talk about nighttime, and that's what we are talking about in this level here, he says mistalek gama rishima de mochim ve'edol bekan bevurashel rishima nishar b'meshuk shlosh hours arvis, so did it leave, or is it still there? So the Rebbeir Hashem and Sason, so the Shem and Sason comes up. He says like this, and he says, al pi hanoide, according to what we know, The ba'arvis nimshachim amochim the kelim chitzonim. At nighttime, you have a mshacha on the mochim of the kelim chitzonim. So, like we have, for example, as we know that in the Shachris you have the kelim penimim, in the Mencha you have the kelim emseim. Here you have the kelim chitzonim. Ulevad mezera b'choyzon v'nimshachim gam chelik maramochim the kelim penimim. So, at the same time, you also have a continuation of the kelim. There is some essence of the kelim penimim which took place at Shachris, which are going to extend into the next day, which is the davening at nighttime. So because of the chalak, so I don't know what it means. The chalak, the chalak, the masha kosa, the eil b'DRUSHOT tefillin. That what we're saying up above, DRUSHOT tefillin. The mistalaka rishima take up a lighter that the rishima leaves immediately at nighttime. Hinder rishima the mochen the kelim penimim. That's what leaves at nighttime. The tefillin, the tefillah chakras. Shanisha Rishima Shadachim Kol Hayom, because that remains the entire day of the day. So when we say that so he's saying, it sounds like he's saying that there are the Rishima, which are developed because of the Kelim Emseim and Chitzonim, that's still there, that Rishima. So some of that is actually extended into Arvis. So Azai al Zechav Ka'amar Sham Sha'achar Tefilas Arvis Mistalkim Taketh Bein Mochen V'Nimshachim Ba'Arvis. So he says that they Mistalkim, they leave immediately Bein Mochen Shenimshachim Ba'Arvis, whether we're talking about the Mochen, which is from the Kelim Chitzonim, over Bein Rishimo, or whether we're talking about the Rishimo itself, Shlosh Shalahem. Shokoya Bezer Anpin Kol Hayom, that was there the whole day long. So therefore, what the Rav says over here, the Yesh Shlosh the Hashach of Rishimo. So when he says that they wait 3 hours in order to be able to keep that Rishimo there, Haindach Rishimo shall amochin the kelim chitzonim. That's what stays there. And imshachim b'tefilas arvis, and that's what comes at the fields of arvis. Okay, now there's another little note here. We have a few minutes. A little note here on number Yud Gimel. On Yom V'yisha Shir Shloshau. So he said, "Rehites l'shona mashma." So the fact that he's going, says it quickly, says it straight out like this. He says, "Mashma." It implies that it sounds like, and I was wondering about this as we were reading it, that you have to wait. So you finish davening and you have to wait, and you need to wait 3 hours. The Hiksha b'Shem and Sason, once again, the Shem and Sason is in this. The Halocha b'Makol the Inyan Zechapchu mehachasidim arishonim. So what do we know about this? We know this from the Chasidim Rishonim. V'heim harei shahoyo la'achar chotefila rak sha'achas belvad. It's only 1 hour. Yisach b'shaharecha shlosh shaosh sheshacha b'tefilasim, because by them we know that the 6 hours that they waited, 3 hours that they waited, hoya kolula misha kodem b'tefila misha achra tefila achas shala tefila atzba u'misha achar atfila b'tzarach iyon. So therefore, exactly what are we talking about? That's a good question. So then he comes back on number Yud Daled, and he says shlosh shaos. There are 3 hours there. Kosav b'kaf hachaim. So over there it's written the niralo the ein sark l'shachos shlosh shaos temimos achar tfilas arvis. So you don't have to wait 3 hours complete, or I guess temimos pure 3 hours, an exact 3 hours. Ela the osa shash b'cham hispalalo, except that in that time when you're actually praying, afilo im nisha b'manu rak miktsasa, even if only a certain amount remains. I guess he means of the hour. Nechshava he l'sha rishona. That's considered. In other words, if your davening doesn't take an hour, we're calling that an hour. V'yamtem od shah shlema, and then you wake afterwards a complete hour. Umixas min hashah shlishis, and a little bit. I guess it means you daven. I'm not sure what he means. Nechshavas hi l'shah rishona, he said. V'yamtim od shah shlema, but then you have to wait till, I guess, the fulfillment of that hour. Umixas min hashah shlishis, and then a little bit of the third hour. V'heim nechshavin l'shlosha shah. So I guess he means different parts would consider to be 3 hours. So I need to read it again just one more time. He says, Afilu im nishar mimenu rak miksasa. So there, you didn't do a whole hour in the davening itself. Nechshavas hi the shah rishona. That's considered to be the first hour. So I guess maybe he means before davening here. V'yamtin od shah shlem, and then you have to wait a whole complete hour then. This sounds like something I saw in the Gemara in Baba Basra. It sounds like when they're talking about the third parak over there, when they're talking about chazaka. So some places they say, well, a little bit of this and a whole bottle of that and a little bit of that makes 3. Okay, so that sounds like the same thing here. A mixes min shah shlishes and a little bit of the third hour. So if you had a little bit, then you have a whole, then you have a little bit, that's 3. Gam hevi Rabbi Yosef also over there. B'shem Arid Samach. Sheba'os shlosh shawos sheshohu yilmad Torah. So that time that you're waiting, what do you do for that hour? You learn. That's what you should do. Okay, that's it for today, Rebbe. Thank you so much for learning with me. Kol Tov.